Hi again, and now let's continue with the serial of videos for Excel for Business. Today we are going to use another file to see a very productive tool for the companies. I'm talking about some product function. So I'm going to open the fourth exercise. Well, here we have two workbooks, two sheets representing this exercise that we have us to master this function. So I'm going to see a very clear example when to use it. This is a very common use tool for Excel. For instance, here we have a column of value 1, a second column of values, and what I need is an outcome. So I need to multiply this amount by this amount. So I'm going to reduce it this one. For instance, saying like 20. I want to multiply 20 by 1000. So you already know how to do it. I just type equal, select the cell by the second cell, that is C4. So I'm going to multiply B4 by C4. So 20 by 1000. So the result obviously is 20,000. So I drag this small point and now I have the autofill here, this green cell, and then I'm going to click on AutoSum, and or you can put it in the upper part of the ribbon. Here I just type here, so I have that my total outcome is this amount. So all this procedure can be skipped if I do another function, like using some product. And notice how much that I get here. So I'm going to explain you. I'm going to locate here in this cell, in this F4 cell, where it says some product, and I'm going to use this function. So I just going to type here some product, select it, and here on the wording it says which is your first array. And the first array that I'm going to select all these values like this, and see they start from B4 up to B18. Then type a comma, and it's asking me for my second array. So I select the second column of values, and here I again have from C4 up to C18. If I have another third array, it will request it to me too. I can have up to 12 arrays. So I close brackets, and you see I obtained the same result as it was downwards. So I using the comma to separate the thousands and also reduce the decimals. And I have also the same result. But the question is, how does this function is working? So I explained you. I type again some product equal some product. This function first is asking me for the matrix, this array that I'm selecting now. I select it in the way of a column. Then I just locate a comma, and then it's asking me for the second array. And now it's differentiated by a different color. And the range would be from C4 up to C18. So this function is taking each value. For instance, it's taking 20 by 1000. So this cell multiply by each cell, one by one, until getting the last one. Then I close brackets, and then after multiplying each of these cells per row, I just click enter, and the total amount is going to be a result of a sum. So that's how I get this result. So that's how this product function works. So notice that it starts with sum and then product, that is a multiplication. But what it does first is multiply, and the result of all this is just an addition. Now I'm going to make an exercise with all this. Remember that at the end we are going to save it with another name. So this will be the practice to domain this exercise. So let's see the second sheet. I'm going to use the same sum product, but using it is in a way of rows. For instance, here we have an exercise of a weighted average with percentages. And you're going to see the difference between the weighted average and the arithmetic average. Here we have the partial examination, the oral examination, on the third column, the practical examination, and the final examination. So we have four columns for examinations. Each one has a weight or the equivalent. For example, the partial exam is worth 15%, the oral 20%, the practical 25%, and the final exam has a weight of 40%. If we make the total sum, you will notice the total average is 100%. Maybe you could work with higher percentages, but in the case of rates, we need to use 100. So we're going to fill in with the data. For instance, we're going to make up some values. For instance, in a random way, we put it random between. And this function, this random between, is asking me for an initial value, a bottom value. So I just add 1 and then give me a top value. And then I just type 10 and close brackets, considering that within this registry, these students are ranked between 1 to 10. For the case of the Mary Orosh, it will have only 1. So if I drag it to the right, this time to the right, you see how this is different. And this one that it was 10 is changing now. If so, I select it downwards, you see that it assigns different values. So this is going to change. Why? Because this is a random function. It's like making a sort that is going to making changes for any actions that I'm going to perform. But please check that all values are between 1 to 10. There is no one that is less than 1 and neither higher than 10. To update Excel, we have the F9 function. Remember that for some cases the F9 function is going to work whenever you press the function key all together with F9. So these numbers I'm going to change as an updated. Well, so what I'm going to do now is to take out the weighted average. So I'm going to use the sum product function. I'm going to multiply this matrix, this array. Remember that in the previous example, we multiplied one column by another column. So we're going to use rows. This is also considered an array. Consider that an array is a range of cells. Could be a range of cells or composed by rows or by columns. So here we are going to multiply these rows by these other rows that has the percentages. So I multiply 2 by 25, 8 by 40, and so on. And the result, the outcome will have a sum. So I just locate on the cell and then just type equal sum product and select in the first array. So I select this first one and see it's if from C6 up to F6, then comma, then it's asking me to select the second a matrix, the second array, that are the percentages, but this time I need to fix it. Why? Because these percentages located here above must be multiplied with the following row, and again with the other one, and so on. So this one doesn't need to be changed. So we need to fix it, to freeze it, to obtain the absolute value. For the first one is not fixed. Why? Because it's variable. Remember, we are going to change the second, the third, and to the last one, that is 7392397. So I close brackets and see how can I obtain a value. So I multiply this value versus by this percentage, and each of this case was the same. You see, now they change it. Remember that we are using a function called run between. Now I just double click to calculate the rest. Now as you see, it changed it. So if you don't like to have it changed, then just select it. It's another technique. So when you make a copy of it, it's just Control C, is entered by the dotted line, and then I just right click button and I just select these values, click, and now with this I deleted the function. You see, there is no any formula, so these values are remaining just the same. They're going to be fixed. So if you would like to do that, so I have here my weighted average. So I repeat it again. Multiply 5 by 15, 1 by 25, and 6 by 40. And the result of all that gave me 4.6. That is the weighted average of Mary. And the arithmetic average is the function average. And here in this function is requesting me give me the value 1, but in this case I want to make an average of all these values from C6 up to FC, and here I have my arithmetic average. What it does is just adding 5 plus 6 plus 1 plus 6 and divided between their numbers, divided into 4. So see, there is just one variation. There is just a slight difference between these averages. And double click, and now you see that these are different. Maybe sometimes could be just the same. It's because the weight it has on each column. So we have seen how to use the sum product tool. So you can use it for statistics, mathematics. When you are working on a bank, you are usually using this tool. And remember that these are arrays. We made a sum and then a multiplication, and the second sheet we use it in the arrays identified by rows. And so here, following the practice, we're going to save it, save as, and just browse within the resources folder, and we are going just to add the word finished. And ready. With this, I close the exercise, and remember that within the exercise number 4, here it is ready to be used, ready to practice again. Now you see it's just as it was at the beginning. So now let's continue with the second exercise in the videos. We're going to use automatic filters. That is really used for any kind of business activities. It will help us a lot to search for information at the time. So here this says automatic filters and sort the databases. Maybe we can put an order in a descendant or ascendant way. So here, for instance, we just locate within any of these cells and just press Ctrl with the downwards arrow. And as you see, I have information until the row 171, and I have 180, 60 information on the cell. And now here I have also the headings. I have numbers, Arabic numbers, ordered from 1 to 10 or 100. And here I have the names, I have the last names, I have the position that they are working for, the area where they are working, the date of their entry, and here I made up the salary. But before continuing, they are asking me to obtain the bonus, the discount, and the net value. And additionally, I have this small table where it says how much is the bonus of the 10% and the discount of 20% of what they earn, plus the bonification. So, ready. So after explaining you this, we're going to perform this exercise. So just locate on H4 cell and we're going to obtain first the bonus. So equally, what I do is just select the 10% maybe here or maybe just here. So just type it here with F4 because this is a cell that must be fixed and freezed. And then I press asterisk and click on 1800. So I don't need to fix it here. Why? Because it needs to change on the next arrows that we are going to be introduced. So each of them is going to vary. So I just click enter and I got the result. So I'm going to change the currency also to add the right one and then double click. Then I got it automatically. Why? Because we have many rows. So it's too much information. And what about if I have only 10,000 rows? In this case, this time is necessary to double click here. This is just autofill, and then I have all the results obtained from each of these employees with this salary that is already written here. Well, this is the 10%. Now let's go to the discount. This time we're going to take it not only from the salary but also from the bonus. So we have to make a sum of these values, and from that we are going to obtain the discount of 20%. Equal, we open brackets, and I'm going to sum this salary plus this bonus, and then close brackets. I fix it because these are variable, and I keep it in between brackets. Why? Because this is a different operation. So I add the by, because it's a multiplication, and add the M3 because that is a discount. And I need to fix it because I need to keep it freeze. And that's enter. So I got the result. I'm going to change it into account to the currency, and then double click again, and so I get the result, all the values until the last one. What I'm doing in this formula, and then with this formula I'm going to zoom in. You can see it here in the formula bar too, but I'm going to just zoom in. So double click, and here's the formula. The formula, what it's doing is making a sum of these two values. Here you have salary plus the bonus, and that is between the brackets, and then it's doing a multiplication of the discount of M3. But since this is not only for these two cells, this will repeat for the following cells. That's why I'm fixing it with the F4, and with this result of the sum, I'll add multiplication of the discount. And now continues with the net value. I add the dollar symbol, and now I am determining the dollar symbol. So in the net, we are going to sum the salary plus the bonus minus the discount. And this time, this is not necessary to fix another one. So just select F, the salary plus the bonus minus the discount. So, but in this case, it's not necessary to add brackets because these are operations that go directly. But here it was mandatory to add brackets because sum versus a multiplication. So we must respect the mathematics sign. And here I just do the autofill and I'm saying the results for all of the database or table. And now with the keyboard we can change it. From here I'm going to teach you how to move. So I can browse with the control, an arrow up, an arrow down. I can browse everywhere I would like to go. So I just get also again to the left and to the right, and just can browse throughout all the table if you are managing a very big table. So what I can do also some tricks. For instance, if they're requesting you give me the total sum of the first salaries, then just going to press 3 keys. It's Control Shift and also the arrow where you want to go. So just press at the same time these 3 keys, and then you can select all the column. You see that, and I have these operations that it comes at the bottom. I have a sum of 2. I had the maximum, and also I have the minimum, and also the count of rows, and the average operation. Well, so in this way I can obtain the result of all of that. If you don't see these operations, just click on the right button of the mouse, and I can select those that are not activated, and just click out and you can see it. If you don't see nothing, then you can select here right button. For instance, I want to add the sum, I want the average, I want the count, I want the maximum and the minimum, and then automatically you will have it here. There are many more, as you can see, but you can leave only those ones that you need to see. Then if I click out, they disappear. What happens if you just select a text column? For instance, here, the last names of these employees. I just select this again, Control Shift, and since this is just text, it shows me the count function, how many rows have been selected, because it's only text. So remember number like this. Here, the 5 most important functions of Excel are shown here below. So this is how you can select it. So remember to select one or many columns. For instance, I would like to select all the numbers. Just select these first ones and then Control Shift, and then all 4 columns are selected. Just be careful, it's just move up or down. It's to select is Control Shift and arrow. And if I requesting you to select everything, and then Control Shift right arrow, and then Control Shift again down arrow. And here, if you want to select the heading, also you can start from the beginning and let's select the whole table. Another way of selecting, if you just can locate at any cell and you just press Ctrl A, and this means to select all the table. And now let's continue with the topic, how I'm going to use the filters. First, I have to activate them. The first way is selecting the headings. When I'm referring to headings, I refer to the headings that are above of each column. This is the main title. It's informational heading, but this is the heading. So these are the main head titles of each column. And then you go directly to the ribbon of data. And here, this is a filter. And just click, and you can have these arrows here that shows me these ribbons. How do they work? If I want to deactivate it, I just take out the filter that is in the data ribbon. Okay, another way to select is again the headings, and here at home you go to the right. Here is a button, it says filter and order, but it's like hidden. Sometimes people use it that way, they activate it or deactivate it. So some others use it by entering to data tab, but a quick way to do it is just to locate here from any of these cells within the table, for instance like this, and just Ctrl Shift plus L, and then the filters are already activated without going to home or data or any of them. Just Ctrl Shift plus L. And then Ctrl Shift plus L key. Then I can deactivate it too. So this is the easiest way to work with the filter. So if you want to review, just you can add it that way. And these are activated. Filters can be activated. There's no need to select the headings. Sometimes maybe you will have to order selecting the headings first, but you will notice on the practice when you are going to work with a table that is different like this. First is sorting the columns. First, see this is the column B. I can Control Shift down arrow, and I can sort this column, and I have two options here: sort the smallest to largest or largest to smallest. And I select the second one and see the lower case was now at the bottom is now the first, but also moved automatically all the information, all, not only this row, not only this column. So this is good because I'm not spoiling all the data. So I get back to prove it and now put it again from smallest to largest, and all the information is kept all together. And now what happens if I'm using a text row? Now here it is saying sort from A to Z. I just click here and it is sorted by alphabetic order until to the last one, and it's ending with the Y. And now I get back again from the opposite to sort the opposite from C to A. So this is an alphabetic order. Also for the last names I can use it from A to C, from C to A. Also for the position I can order it from A to C and C to A. And also for the date, from the oldest to the newest, or newest from the oldest. And click and have the most recent, and I want to have the opposite. I have the oldest and to the newest. And also the salary for the numbers I can have from smallest to the largest. So here that one that earns more to the smallest salary. And here this is a repeated the information that I'm using for this example, and also with this one. So I have ordered everything. Apparently I ordered everything. What happens if I wanted to get it back as it was originally? And then I select this column. This important to keep this column because I can get back as the database was originally. Maybe I'm working with another one table, and then someone that is in charge of this table is asking what happened here. So this is important to have this an auxiliary data, auxiliary column here, so I can order it from smallest to largest. So I can get it back as it was originally, and I can leave it as I was working with previously. So it's also to have in your database to keep an additional column. We call it index column, that allows you to see a unique register for each of these cells. For instance, in number 1, there's no more repetition. You have a number 2, number 3, and so on. So this is a kind of good practice that you can keep an order in your work, pretty organized. So I suggest you to keep this column. This will be more heavy, make more heavy your database, but later on I will explain you more about that. So let's continue with the filters. Let's see what is the main purpose of these filters. Now you see, you have already seen how to sort with filters, but let's imagine if you are requesting salary higher to 2,500. So I get into this salary, I go to this option that it says filter by numbers, and I just select these options here just to show you which of them earns more than 2,500, and I enter here type 2,500 without the comma, and then you can see all those that earn more than 2,500 are here. And I see that I don't need to count it because here at the bottom left found 24 out of 168 registers. And now in salary, and I'll get back again and show all the information with this this option that it says clear filters, and I have all again the 168 registers. And I'll just get back to the salary and filter numbers, number filters, and now I'm going to filter those that are equal or higher than, and I select here the then 2000. So I'm going to consider also the 2000. So just click OK, and you can see all these are equal or higher than 2000, but it's already filtered. This time it filtered 48 registries out of the 168. See that here when I apply the filter, these columns are kept in blue. The information is not lost. I'm just hiding that information that I'm not filtering. How do I know that the filters that I'm using here? It's because this small filter is saying that I use this filter. So I want to filter another information about this same analysis that I'm doing. So go to bonus and now get back to number filters, and I will ask less than. And here I'm going to filter all those that are earning less than 200 as a bonus. I know here that is no one. The filter is working, but this means that there is no one that earns less than 200 as a bonus with a higher salary of 2,500. Now I get back and clear the filter, but the 48 are kept here. But maybe I'm going to filter less than, get back and type 300, less than 300, and yes, here they found me. Out of these 48 that earn 2,500, now I'm filtering those ones that earn less than 300, and now I have 36, but I can find here in position. I can filter also. I don't need to use text, but I'm just going to deactivate it, and here just select marketing directors, and here is only marketing, respecting this first salary filter, respecting this bonus filter. And now I'm adding the third filter of position, like marketing director. So I got 12 out of 168. How do I know? Because of these small filters that are activated here. For instance, in position, I have a filter that is used, same as in salary, same as in bonus. To show back again, if you want to clean them up again, just clear and clear again, or the easiest way is just deactivate the filters. You just locate in a cell within the table, Ctrl Shift L, and you have recovered again all the information as it was previously. And if you want to activate again the filters, Ctrl Shift L. If you don't want to activate or deactivate one by one. So let's get back to text filter. For instance, let's suppose that I'm looking for a peculiar person, someone in particular, but I don't remember the last name or their name, but just remember that the last name started with T. So I get back a text filter and then start with or begin with. And here I just type the T letter and said okay, and see how all those ones started, those last names beginning with T. And oh yes, this is the last name that I wanted, or I can do it by text. I can get back and clear the filter, and then just select all, and all the information is recovered. Remember, with number filters, we are going to use number filters and have some of these options. And with text filters, you can select any of these options. And also you can filter by, let's suppose, names, and you can find it here, or deactivate all. I know it's Danny, I know it's Eva and Jordi, and just filter these ones. So it filtered 20 out of 168. I get back again and select all and set OK, and I recover all the information. Maybe something in peculiar, for instance, like I can type here, show me all working in administrative department, and just it's enough typing the first letters and it's activated this one. This is the administrative that I needed, and all those working in that area are activated. So you have different ways to activate this filter. So I did select all of them, or you can use that option. Concerning to dates, dates are very important. So if you see that for number filters, you have number filters. For text, you have text filters. For dates, you have these other options, like can help you to filter the information. For instance, I can use the between dates and some peculiar dates. For example, those that started working on the company on January 1st, 2021, up to December 31st, 2021. And I said, okay. And here it says, they didn't work and on that date. So I get back again to filter the dates between, let's suppose, January 1st, 1995. And then select and copy. It depends on the format of the data, of the dates that you can find it, starting by day or by month. But here I ask all people working from January 1st, 1995 up to December 31st of that year. And now it's filtering all the people working on that period. And here down it says 12 people were working on that period. So I clear out the filter. And now that's going to apply the conditional form. How can we select by colors? What happens if we select it by numbers? For instance, the nets. Now I get back to home. Conditional, I highlight sales rules. I want to teach you how to use each of these. And let's get to equal to or greater than. Let's select greater than. And I'm going to add some amount. Those ones that earn more than 2,500. And now if I review, it highlights all those ones. I can select here the color, can select green or yellow or red or lighter red, or can just have the text in red and the personalized. For the instance, for this example, I'm going to use the green one. Click out and you can see that all those ones that met the requirement are here highlighted in color. This is a brief introduction. We're going to see the conditional formatting in a different way, but I just wanted to show you this because if I go to net filter, I can select it by color and filter by all cell colors or this font color. Why do I have these two colors? Because you see that the field has a light color, but I can select any of these two colors. Filter by color, filter with these colors, and this I'm applying filter because I am applying a filter that all the people earning more than 2,500. So that's how I can work with colors, filtering by colors. If you want to take it out, just locate in any of these cells and just go to conditional filtering and then activate it. And then here I select this rule and I delete rule, and then deleted that rule. So working with filter is quite easy, it's quite fast. So this is fast filters, but they are quite necessary to analyze the information in a quick way. If I don't know what the data is about, or maybe my boss is asking me for some information very fast, and filters can help me a lot with that. Another thing that is quite interesting is that if I'm analyzing this data, but I don't, but which administrative areas are working here, and now I can see and go in and have a summary of all the information that I'm requiring. So I don't need to go row by row reviewing each one to notice which are the departments. So I just have it all the repeated areas, and this is a summary. But also I can review summary all the last names, and it happened all the same with the names. I can do it also with data, with the dates from 1995 up to 2005. So these employees are considered here, and I can open more, and also is showing me the months and also the days. And so I can review and make a quick summaries when I don't know how to manage this table. I can do it that way. So remember that the numbers, so this is not so good to review here the numbers, but I just go up and down, so I can learn that in this company they are earning like 60, or let's go back to salary. I can have the minimum salary and the maximum salary, so I can immediately know about the information of this table. So this is the automatic filter. Let's continue with the next video.